Please welcome to the stage, Asha Sharma. Nothing dead.
Every person in every role now holds the power to create right inside of the tools they already know and love.
Asha Sharma from Microsoft's Core AI Group is the new leader of Xbox. This has a lot of people rattled, but from my perspective, this could be good or it could be bad. First, a little context. Phil Spencer retired from Xbox after decades at Microsoft, and Sarah Bond walked. Speculation's been everywhere, but I think Phil has been planning this, and Sarah left when she wasn't tapped for his job. And who could blame her? My read is that it felt sudden because it leaked early, forcing the quick rollout. This happened to me as a VP. We had this long transition planned, and we had the new leader picked, and he leaked the information externally, and next thing you know, I was immediately working from home. There was no transition. It was pretty harsh, but at the same time, it was really nice not coming into the office because you kind of feel like The Walking Dead. And for those of you who are waiting out there for the full story, it's probably never going to happen. These departures often involve a lot of money and NDAs. The first concern raised is that she's not a big gamer. Look, it's awesome when the leader is a gamer, but it's a nice to have, not a must have. It's not essential. High-level leaders are often out of field. You can't master every discipline below you. Peter Moore, for example, was a shoe guy from Reebok. I'm a gamer, but I am terrible. I mean terrible at flight sims, and I've worked on 3 flight games. In fact, I got my worst flyer badge confirmed by the guy I called the glider gnome after our trip out together. I think I terrified him. He definitely did not want me coming back. Not being a gamer might actually help, too. A lot of veteran leaders in the games industry age out of the target market, but then still meddle in design because they think they know. They don't realize they're not the target anymore. Asha won't do that. She's going to have to look at data, and she's going to have to listen to gamers. The bigger concern for me is she seems light on product and game development experience. We were at Meta at the same time. I didn't know her. What I found working there was that non-Oculus teams there were often slow, entitled, and bad at prioritizing. I hope she doesn't bring that energy. On the positive side, she was early at Porch Group startup. She wore a lot of different hats in product, engineering, and sales. If she can bring that fast startup energy and hustle to Xbox, that could be a game changer.
Xbox was the toughest job I will ever have, or have ever had. I will never do it again.
Every day was a challenge, both sort of technically and professionally, but also personally.
You know, you were lucky if you had a personal relationship that survived launch. Mine did not.
It's kind of like you're on this horse that's bucking and you're thinking, okay, is this ever going to stop or will this be the end of me? I'm not claiming this was healthy, but it worked. Now, some of you are probably thinking, well, Peter Moore also didn't have game development experience. And that's true, he didn't. But back then at old Microsoft, shipping products was in everyone's blood. He didn't really need to bring that kind of help to the team. But now you've got State of Decay delaying, Fable rebooting, Halo's a mess, even Windows 11 is struggling. I have no confidence the team still got that shipping instinct anymore. And if she doesn't bring that discipline, it'll be a real challenge helping the teams who need it. And honestly, that's why her success or failure depends on one thing. Can she assess people? Can she figure out who's solid and who's not? That is the make or break trait. She talked about this whirlwind listening tour she's on right now. She and Matt Booty are going to be hitting up all of the studios, talking with everyone at Minecraft and Bethesda and Activision. That's a good start, but it better double as a real assessment tour too. She needs trusted advisors that are close to the work, people she can actually put weight on and let run with stuff. When I went to WB Games, that was my biggest challenge. I knew how to ship games, but I didn't know anyone in the studios. It was pure smoke jumping. And you've got everyone coming to your office, pitching themselves, their games, their ideas, what works. There's a lot of finger pointing going on, biases everywhere. And all you can do is try to sort that out. She'll need to figure out who she can trust to run with things, who has real insight, instead of just telling you what you want to hear. and she'll need to build her inner circle from those people, the ones who actually know their stuff, not the smooth ones spinning narratives. But it's bigger than just picking her circle. She also needs to fix the culture. Xbox used to have a lot more bravado, bold risks, that renegade edge where people tried wild stuff nobody else would touch. That's the spirit she keeps referencing. Renegade, rebellion, fun, spirit of surprise, building things others weren't willing to try. They need to get that back, not a culture of yes men who just nod along and do whatever she says, because it won't work. She's coming in without that deep gamer, game dev instinct to call shots on creative risks herself. And with thousands of people, she can't micromanage on gut feel. She doesn't know what's going to make a great game land. But if she can spot the people that can bring back that fearless, bold energy that Xbox used to have, and she can provide them air cover and let them really run, well, that could be a game changer. That could turn things around and revive what made Xbox special. For the right employees, the ones who really know what they're doing, they will love this fresh start. And my advice to them, be honest but respectful. Bring solutions. What needs to be fixed and why? What problem are you trying to solve? And try to stay away from the blame game. It's raging right now. You have anonymous sources dumping on Phil and Sarah. They may even dump on you. The truth is that everyone in Xbox owns some of the situation. Leaders can't fix things alone. That said, top-down accountability is completely fair. They were the people with the most leverage in the Xbox organization to make changes. Look, I've observed this many times when people leave teams. They just blame the previous people. They blame the previous leader. And this is a huge edge for Asha. She's new shoes. People like new shoes, right? We give them a grace period to break in. She gets breathing room. Satya is going to cover her back. Frustrated folks are going to re-engage with fresh hope. And she can say no to dumb ideas without the last 5 years of baggage. She needs to lean into that freedom and run as fast as she can while the grace period lasts. And she's already starting to use that room. She's laid out 3 priorities in her memo and interviews. There's a lot to unpack from what she said, so let's take them one by one. Everything begins here. We must have great games beloved by players before we do anything. This is awesome, if kind of obvious. Of course, everyone wants great games. Who doesn't? The real question is execution. We have to see if it translates to ship titles people love, not just more words. Her second priority was a return to Xbox. This one's the big one for a lot of fans. She wrote, "We will recommit to our core Xbox fans and players, starting with console, which has shaped who we are." In the interview, she said, "I am committed to returning to Xbox, and that starts with console, that starts with hardware." And just a few hours ago, Asha announced Project Helix, their next-gen console. It will play Xbox and PC games. Now that's startup energy. Her last priority is the future of play. We are witnessing the reinvention of play, invent new business models and new ways to play. But as monetization and AI evolve and influence this future, we will not chase short-term efficiency or flood our ecosystem with soulless AI slop. Games are art crafted by humans. This is great. Okay, she understands that gamers don't want AI-generated junk flooding the store. She's drawing lines. She's saying this is not going to replace people, it's going to help them. At the same time, I know they're going to use AI because 60% of game makers already are. They're using it for the grunt work at a minimum. And if Microsoft can integrate AI into the Xbox tools at scale in a meaningful way without cutting out humans and creativity, that would be a huge value add, not just to the game developers, but also to the players. I've noticed over the years that humanity doesn't like living in ambiguity. We want to collapse the wave. But I encourage you to wait. Just wait and see what happens. I'll admit, as a former team member and a gamer, I've got a bias here. I want them to succeed. More consoles, more devices, more games, more competition. That's good for everyone. It's not like Sony and Nintendo have been perfect. And the less people they have to compete with, the easier it is for them to exploit gamers. This is a reset for Xbox. They're re-examining everything. The business plan, the priorities, the direction. It may fail. It could crash and burn. Maybe it will just fade away. But at least we're going to get clarity instead of more of the same. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens.
It goes beyond how many units they sold. It goes beyond which generation they won or were dominant in.
I think a company like Microsoft, we should stand for something more than just what place we're in. And I want Xbox to be around forever. And I want to be able to look back on it and say, we really use this opportunity to shape culture